the second Germany edition on the 9th of October, but we have a lot lined up in the lead up to that. Let's begin. Berlin hosts the curtain raiser to what promises to be a defining platform for dialogue and partnership. The summit comes at a very special moment, marking 25 years of Indo-German partnership. At its heart is a commitment to strengthen bilateral collaboration in a world grappling with fast-changing geo-economics and geopolitical realities. From boosting trade and investment to taking Make in India to Germany, the News9 Global Summit will bring together leaders from all walks of life, policymakers, industry voices and cultural icons to map out new pathways of cooperation. Today's curtain raiser in Berlin really sets the tone for high-powered discussions, some fresh ideas and some bold solutions as well, all with a clear focus, strengthening the India-Germany ties in a shifting global landscape. We have my colleague Karthik Malhotra joining us live from Berlin with some very special guests as well, is what I understand. Take it away, Karthik.
Very special indeed, and in fact tomorrow is that big day where GIIC, the German Indian Innovation Corridor, is hosting News9 and the News9 Global Summit indeed, and that is going to be the first curtain raiser for the News9 Global Summit. I had the pleasure of being joined by Siddharth Bhasin, the Managing Director of GIIC, who's here with me right now. And I also have Ms. Anandi Iyer, the Director of Fraunhofer India office. And Anandi Iyer, of course, among both of them being panelists with us at the News9 Global Summit in Stuttgart. You'll also see Anandi Iyer tomorrow as well as in the Munich curtain raiser. So let's have a quick conversation with them and really understand about not just the News9 Global Summit, but this very, very extensive and expansive GIIC conclave, which is also scheduled for tomorrow. Siddharth, let me begin by asking you, first of all, thank you so much for hosting News9. And of course, being part of the News9 Global Summit. Now, tell us what are some of the big headlines that we should expect from the GIIC Summit tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, thank you to the TV9 crew for coming in, and we are really excited with the partnership that we have with TV9 and the GIIC. The concept of the summit is really to bring Germany and India closer, especially in the innovation and technology segment. The GIIC summit really portrays the strength and the unity between the German and the Indian economy. So 150 top decision makers from India, 150 top decision makers from Germany coming together, one day, power-packed discussions, innovation, technology exchange programs, many outputs in terms of innovation and technology exchange programs, startup exchange programs, opening up of a deep tech campus in India. So all of those highlights would be exhibited during the GIIC summit. And apart from that, of course, networking, because we really want these business decision makers to talk to each other, because we feel people don't talk to each other enough. And that is really one of the major outcomes that we want out of the summit, that these decision makers talk to each other, and let's say the business outcomes between Germany and India that we believe can grow 10x, which are not growing right now, should be grown at the GIIC summit and the TV9 summit, and hence we do it together as well.
Fantastic. I know you're a very busy man. We really pulled you out of what you were doing, so I will let you go for now, Siddharth, but thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow. Anandi Iyer continues to be with me, and of course innovation is the big buzzword that Siddharth also just mentioned, and in fact it's not just in the name of the GIIC, the German Indian Innovation Corridor, but it also seems to be in the DNA of everything which India and Germany work on together. And who better than Anandi Iyer, the Director of Fraunhofer India office, to tell us about this innovation landscape which is brewing, which is simmering, but which really needs to now catch the imagination of entrepreneurs, students, both in India as well as in Germany. What is the mission for Fraunhofer India office to take this innovation story forward?
Yeah, it's very exciting that innovation is now becoming the core strength of the collaboration between India and Germany. And we are all witnessing a very turbulent geopolitical shift in the global stage. But in all of this, if there is a relationship that's showing a lot of promise and is getting more busier by the day, it's the Indo-German corridor. And the reason for that is both these countries enjoy complementary strengths. And this has been said many times before in the last few years, that India and Germany have great potential to collaborate. But I'm seeing that personally now, with Germany showing a lot of interest for Indian students, but also for the Indian academia and the innovation ecosystem. And similarly, India looking at Germany for some very critical technology support, like in semiconductors, renewable energy, AI. So I think this is an inflection point in the history of Indo-German relations. I personally believe that. And Fraunhofer has seen that. We came to India 18 years ago when nobody believed in the India innovation growth story, and we were the first believers. And we have paid rich dividends. We earned 70 million euros out of India in the last 10 years. And these are coming from Indian companies who work with us for innovation. And given the positive framework that the government has put in place, whether it's Startup India, whether it's Digital India, or even the ANRF, I think in the next few years are going to be extremely exciting, and the action is going to be in India. So I think it would help that we reduce the information asymmetry that exists between India and Germany today, and bring more people, like Siddharth said, to talk more to each other, because R&D happens when people have trust. That's the core. I'm hoping that this event will really create that trust.
Fantastic, I'm sure. And trust building, I think, also needs to start really early on in age. And as they say, catch them young, watch them grow. Is that true for the innovation story as well? I'm talking in the context of the H-1B visas and the crackdown that the US administration has done on the H-1B visas. Is it time now for Indian students to potentially look at German universities and look at German educational institutions to really start that innovation journey well ahead before they really become entrepreneurs or ideas that go to market?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for Germany to really position itself in the Indian mind space of the youngsters. For too long, Indian young students have been looking to Anglo-Saxon countries like, say, UK or US or even Australia and Singapore, only because, in Germany you needed to know German. But today the situation has changed. The biggest contingent of foreign students in Germany are Indians. We are about 60,000 students every year. But having said that, Fraunhofer hosts about 27 of India's brightest brains in R&D. And the big advantage of studying in Germany is not the fact that universities don't charge you. I don't think that should be the main reason why students look at Germany. The German education system, the dual education system, is just fantastic. So it places a lot of focus on practical knowledge. And if you look at the way the entire innovation ecosystem here is built, there is a seamless connectivity between academia, research institutions, and industry. And so when a student studies here and does the PhD or, even goes for a master's or whatever, he is directly connected to industry.
Right.
And so there is a different level of learning that happens. And I think students should come for that. And I'm hoping that they will be the bridge builders between India and Germany.
So the student community is likely to be the bridge between building ties for India and Germany, especially as far as innovation goes. But yeah, that's all for now from this wonderful reception here at Berlin. And of course, the big GIIC summit is scheduled for tomorrow. And that is when the official curtain raiser for the News9 Global Summit is also going to kick off. Krishna.
All right, we leave it at that. The countdown has indeed officially begun in Berlin. Thank you, Karthik, for joining us live from Berlin. With that, we will be seeing you again tomorrow in that big event by the GIIC. I'm afraid with that, we've completely run out of time over here. Keep watching News9. We'll be bringing you all the action from Germany over the next 1 week with the culmination in Stuttgart on the 9th of October. But with that, it's a wrap here from my side. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.
What is to the nines? In literal terms, it's perfection. But to us, it's not just a phrase, it's an attitude. One that starts at your desk and sends a statement to the world. To the Nines is about taking charge. It's a way of life where every seam, every fold, is crafted with excellence. It's timeless elegance and uncompromising quality made for the corner office. It's the ideas that inspire redefining order and elevating the tabletop. To the Nines, for the leaders of today and the visionaries of tomorrow.
I start off straight away, question which is very close to my heart. Close to 90 years old business, and I've heard you saying that your dad and your granddad were sort of ambivalent about whether you should come in or not.
India was a very different place back then. Joined the family business with no idea, no background in economics, accounting, retail, sarees, nothing. So that was both a blessing and a curse.
When you went to Harvard, you had in your mind that you'll equip yourself better to run business and come back?
It was also an excellent exposure for a different reason. The US is very different from India.
I sometimes wondered that whether we had an opportunity to take sari to the global arena.
We've always been about the heart and soul of India. And for us, it's the consumer who comes in saying, look, this is my hard-earned money for a wedding. I want the best that my money can buy.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
Let me start with our top story on SPF. Is your sunscreen really safe? At least Australia does not think so. The one product most of us, men, women, across the world really use on a daily basis, sometimes even twice, is sunscreen. But what if I tell you that sunscreen that you're applying may not be protecting you at all? In fact, you may be just getting conned by the sunscreen companies. I'm not saying all, but this is exactly what's found in Australia. Now, Australia, a sunscreen scandal has exploded, with the government now cracking a whip and pulling off shelves nearly 18 products. They, after independent testing by Australian agencies, found that they offered only a fraction of the protection that they promised. Now, for example, take ultraviolet lean skin sunscreen. In fact, ultraviolet's lean skin sunscreen, it's marketed as SPF 50+. Tests have revealed that it was closer to only SPF 4, essentially useless. The product was recalled in August. Australia's medicines regulator, the Therapeutic Goods Administration, has now flagged about 20 more sunscreens in the country, many sharing the same base formula. And they believe it's not giving any protection. Officials warn that some products may test as low as SPF 4. So far, 8 have been recalled, 10 are paused, others remain under review. So it's certainly alarming. We're also looking at some of the big brands like Neutrogena, Banana Boat, Bondi Sands, and the Cancer Council feature on the list. Though they dispute these findings, adding to the worry, some products also tested positive for benzene, a cancer-causing chemical that's linked to leukemia and blood disorders. Australia is now already the skin cancer capital of the world. 2 out of 3 Australians are said to have at least one skin cancer cut out in their lifetime. That's why it's quite important that sunscreen that you're using is effective enough. And here we're looking at Australia imposing the most stringent sunscreen rules globally. Unlike in Europe and India, where sunscreen is considered a cosmetic, in Australia particularly, it's regulated as a therapeutic good, basically a medicine. Of course, Australia now, while it cracks a whip, all of this scandal began in June, where a report by consumer advocacy group Choice, which found popular sunscreens failing independent SPF checks, that triggered the TGA's sweeping investigation across brands. Now, What does this mean for consumers? Experts say, first, stop using recalled products immediately and get a refund if you can. Second, application still matters. A full teaspoon of sunscreen for every part of your body is mandatory if you're going out in the sun. And remember, this is a very complicated relationship that Australians have with the sun. There's this whole trend of getting a nice tan. But while you want a tan, you also need to put sunscreen enough to protect you from the UV rays. And it seems like the brands that are promising to do that aren't really effective enough. So wear the right clothes, wear a hat, layer yourself up with the good brand of sunscreen. These are things that you should do to avoid skin cancer. Well, since skin cancer doesn't seem to be a problem in India as such, the way it seems to be an epidemic almost in Australia. What if your sunscreen isn't delivering the SPF it really claims? With testing standards now under global scrutiny, the scandal may have consequences far beyond Australia because many of the same products are sold worldwide. For now, regulators are racing to restore trust, but until that happens, customers are left now scrambling which sunscreen to use. If I could bring in our panelists to give us a little sense on the dangers of using sunscreens that do not promise to actually deliver SPF 50 is what they say. Some of them also delivering just SPF 4. So it's shocking. Let me bring in Dr. Anup Dheer, Senior Consultant Cosmetic Surgeon, Apollo Hospital. We also have Dr. Akriti Chawla, Dermatologist, Bharti Taneja, Founder, Director, ALPS Beauty Group. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. Let me start with Dr. Anup Dheer. Dr. Anup, your take, shoot right off the bat. Sunscreens may not be delivering what it promises. SPF 50 plus that shows on brand packaging, ultimately you're getting only SPF 4. And that's led to skin cancer, at least that's what's attributed to skin, a reason for why there's a spike in skin cancer in Australia. What are your views?
Well, my view is that it's a big time regulatory failure. The set standards are not being followed and the agencies have been negligent in checking it at the right time. Now, many cancers have erupted and there's a cancer epidemic almost because of these sunscreens, and now they are realizing that the sunscreens they are using are not effective. So they need to sort out their regulatory mechanisms so that sunscreens do deliver, especially the zinc sunscreens, like they're just delivering 4 SPF. Those zinc sunscreens are reputed to be very effective, but they're just delivering 4 SPF. So that's a big problem, and the solution lies in strict compliance and stopping.
We are having such strict regulation. How do you think something like this slipped through so easily? And they're known to be the skin cancer capital of the world. So despite that, there wasn't enough regulation. Is shocking.
Well, there could be some testing differences also. I mean, the different labs test these in different ways. Maybe the labs which checked the original sunscreens, they showed it to be a better SPF. I cannot know anything about that sitting here, but probably there can be some testing differences, but testing differences can't be 50s to 4. 50 SPF delivering 4 SPF is definitely shocking, and they need to change their regulatory standards and do strict compliance.
Just to make it a little more comprehensive for our viewer, not wearing adequate sunscreen and exposing yourself to the sun. You know, Australians especially love the ocean. They want to sit on the beach, get themselves tan, but yet wear a sunscreen and still get a slight tan. That's what they love, and you know most Western countries are similar, and they love doing that. But yet they're asked to wear a sunscreen. How long in the sun can really lead to damage?
Well,
one day, 1 hour.
Problem in Australia is that there's a lot of ultraviolet radiation, and most of the people are fair-skinned. In Indians, it's less of a problem, because our skin has better melanin content, and we are better insulated against the sun and the ultraviolet rays. So there's a difference between what is there in Australia and what is there in India. In India, we use sunscreen as a cosmetic, not as a tool to prevent the cancer, skin cancer, because skin cancer is has got very little chance of developing in Indian skin because it has a lot of melanin. That's the basic difference. So we need not panic in India, but in India also we need strict compliance and so that similar sunscreens do not come to our market.
So from what I hear, I understand for us even SPF 4 is okay then.
No, SPF 4 is not okay. Certainly not okay.
All right.
Indian skin needs at least SPF 20, 15 or 20.
Now, but my only thing is if